All right. Let's see, we're going to start doing some homeschooling now with the children. So tonight we're going to try to have a civics lesson along with some Dr. Seuss put together. So kids, let's read this. It's entitled, How the Wolf Stole Freedom. It was written, I believe, or inspired from events on March 19th, 2020. Here we go. Every citizen down in Pennsylvania liked freedom a lot, but the wolf who lived in the capital of PA did not. The wolf hated freedom the whole freedom season. Now please don't ask why. No one quite knows the reason. It could be perhaps that his loafers were too tight. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right. But I think that the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there the first day of spring, hating on yous, staring down from his throne with a sour, woofy frown at the Pennsylvanians in their cities and towns. For he knew every citizen across Pennsylvania beneath was busy, now working to provide for their family to eat. And they're working and living, he snarled with a sneer. In a couple of weeks, it's Easter. It's practically here. Then he growled with his wolfy fingers nervously drumming, I must find some way to stop happiness from coming. For tomorrow, he knew, all the PA boys and girls, it's the first day of spring. They'd rush and have joy. And then, oh, the noise. Oh, the noise. Noise, noise, noise. That's one thing he hated was the noise. Noise, noise, noise. And they'll talk of their freedoms, worshiping their God and such, thinking of the Bill of Rights applies to them. Well, that is too much. They'll express religion and speech, press and assembly, petition, bear arms, maintaining militia, and then be complaining of CDC being allowed in their house, being secure in their persons and papers they will espouse. They complain about unreasonable searches and seizures. I'll carve out their rights with a massive meat cleaver. No Fifth Amendment, no due process at all. I'm the emperor of everything. Who are you going to call? Then the citizens, young and old, would sit down where they eat. Our economy is humming. Life is good, let's feast. Feast, feast, feast. They would feast on slippery pot and shoe fly pies, those beasts, which was something the wolf couldn't stand in the least. And then they'd do something he liked least of all. Every citizen of the Commonwealth, the tall and the small, would stand close together and enjoy all their freedoms. They'd shake hands and hug and not act like prison deedens. They'd gather and worship and sing. Sing, sing, sing. And the more the wolf thought of their worship and sing, the more the wolf thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 233 years, the aristocracy has put up with it now. I must stop individual freedoms from lasting. But how? Then he got an idea. An awful idea. I know just what to do, the wolf laughed in his throat. and he drafted a closure order while ranking governors. He thought he was the GOAT. And he chuckled and clucked. What a great Wolfie trick. With this closure order, it provides legitimacy to me being a dick. All I need is an order. So the wolf looked around. But since it's unconstitutional, there was none to be found. Did that stop the old wolf? Nah, the wolf simply said, if I don't have the authority, I'll make it up instead. So he grabbed the old codes and other books he never read and crafted some crap and said our Constitution is dead. Then he loaded some crap on a doc file in Word, printed it out, and made it look old with Wolf Turd. Then he went on TV, himself the old liar. Close schools and businesses now, he said over the wire. And the one speck of freedom that he left in the state, to worship on Sundays. Yes, don't make that mistake. Then he did the same thing to all of the freedoms. Bill of Rights must be shredded. All of them. This is my kingdom. It was 35 PS CS 7301 that I will invoke. Screw your freedoms. Your rights are a joke. Close down your business. Lay off your employees. I'm going to tease unemployment to make them compliant in my sleaze. 3,000 feet up from his throne on Mount Wolf, he screwed our state economy for generations, crushing our dreams with his hoof. Pooh-pooh to your rights, he was wolfishly humming. They're finding out now that no freedoms are coming. They won't wake up. I know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open for probably a month or two. Then the citizens of PA will all cry, "Help me, Tom Wolf Cruise!" That's a noise, grinned the wolf, that I simply must hear. So he paused, and the wolf put his hand to his ear, and he did hear a sound rising throughout his state. It started out low, then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, this sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry, very. He stared down at Wolfville. The wolf popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he saw was a shocking surprise. Every citizen in PA, the tall and the small, was standing tall, without any current freedoms at all. He hadn't stopped freedom from coming. It came. Somehow or other, it came just the same. And the wolf with his wolf feet looked down at below, stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without liberty. It came without rights. It came without assembly, with fear of arrest in the night. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the wolf thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe freedom, he thought, doesn't come from a throne. Maybe freedom, perhaps, all citizens have earned on their own. And what happened then? Well, in Pennsylvania, they say, that the wolf's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright PA light and revived the motto, virtue, liberty, independence, to PA at least. And he himself, the wolf, finally brought the oppression to cease. Now, kids, we're living the rest, so let's help speed it to the end. This will not break our freedoms, and soon this will end. Thank you.